Do you guys know we just passed the 2-year anniversary of something? Do you know what it was? The 2-year anniversary of some big event. No, Concord's only a year. Yes, Baldur's Gate. Sven, the head at Larian, made this little cryptic post. It's not even that cryptic. It's just like straight up hyping it up. But I kind of want to know your thoughts, okay? It's been 2 years since the release of Baldur's Gate. Came out on August 3rd of 2023. So technically it was yesterday, but we don't stream on Sundays. Sorry, not sorry. But Sven said, crazy to think it's only been 2 years. It's truly been life-changing. Probably worth writing about one day. I think he's going to make a book at some point. But I can spoil the biggest takeaway. Baldur's Gate 3 was what allowed us to do our next crazy thing. How that will pan out is anyone's guess, but I can assure you we're working hard and to ensure you'll have plenty of fun. Like really, loads of it. In a surprising way. And I can't wait to show you. But you'll need to be patient. / we'll need a bit more time to make it work. It'll be worth it though. What do you guys think they're working on? What do you think they're working on? There's been rumors they're working on a sci-fi game. There's been rumors that they're working on like going back to Divinity or something. We just don't know at this point. But I think they're going balls to the walls. The one thing we do know is that it's not going to be Baldur's Gate 4. It's not going to be D&D based. It won't be. So beyond that, what are the options? What's the possibilities? I think it's very likely they go sci-fi. And here's the deal. Like all of these interviews with devs, with studio heads, the one thing that is very, very common that you hear a lot is that they want to keep things exciting for the team. They don't want the team to burn out, because burning out, that's when the creative juices stop flowing. That's when people are just clocking in, clocking out, and you start to feel that in the end product. I mean, it really kind of sucks the soul out of it. So it can be very, very helpful to give the team something that's different, shake it up, make it exciting. Especially for something like Baldur's Gate, you're working on a fantasy game for years and years and years and years. It can be fun to shake it up and do something totally, totally different. Cyberpunk-esque setting, dude, that'd be baller. That'd be baller. Deus Ex reboot. Well, here's the thing. So there's also been speculation about like doing a licensed IP. A lot of people have wished that they would get like Lord of the Rings, for example, do a Lord of the Rings style game with like the crazy depth and roleplay stuff that they have. There's been speculation that they're going to do something Star Wars related. Maybe they got a big IP license with that, because there was one earnings call where this person at Disney alluded to a big, exciting new Star Wars project, and that could be the... Realistically, for one, I don't think they need to do anything licensed to be successful. And two, licensing stuff, as we learn with the Insomniac leaks, is freaking expensive as hell. Like crazy expensive. And giving up a third of every copy you sell just doesn't feel that good. So I don't think they need to, and I don't think they will in that regard, in that capacity. I think what makes most sense is if they went something sci-fi, they swing the other way, and they basically make a sort of spiritual successor to a Mass Effect or something, you know, a big expansive sci-fi RPG with their own combat system, with their own roleplay systems and everything. And I think that can work. You know, something could be spiritually inspired by Star Trek or by Star Wars, and doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but can have their own spin on it and still be very, very fun. Very, very fun and unique. Now they might stick with fantasy. They might. I think just on a practical level, the danger with sticking to fantasy is that you just made one of the most beloved RPGs in history in, of course, a fantasy setting in the D&D realm.
404 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you, my friend.
Isn't that what Owlcat is doing?
Yeah, Owlcat is doing The Expanse, which is in a licensed IP given their CRPG skill set. And I think that'll be really, really cool. But both of these guys were working on whatever they're doing now. For Owlcat, it's the Expanse thing. And for Larian, we don't know what it is. But both of them were working on it before that was made public. So they could do whatever they want. But I mean, I think, again, the difficulty with going from a Baldur's Gate 3 to another fantasy, like even if it's a new IP in fantasy, I just think people will be caught up expecting it to play more like Baldur's Gate instead of something totally fresh and different. You know, it's I think if they did something totally new, it could be a good palate cleanser before maybe returning to fantasy with the game that comes after this one. But the truth of the matter is, nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. I even know people that have gone to the studio and have tried to, like, you know, they would never admit this publicly, but they're like, yeah, I tried to peek at screens and see if I could see, oh, is that sci-fi or is that fantasy? Are they working on a broomstick or like a robot? Like, what are they working? And they couldn't see anything. Okay. Like nobody knows. Nobody knows. They've been very, very tight-lipped about it, but they're very excited about it. As for the specific verbiage he uses, I don't know. It's just like, we're working hard to ensure you'll have plenty of fun, like really loads of it. That feels very pointed, like it's a hint at something. Plenty of fun, like really loads of it. Maybe he is just saying you'll have lots of fun, but it feels kind of weirdly phrased. I don't know. I'm trying to read into it to find some hint. I'm so curious. I'm so curious. In FPS? Well, I guess that's another question. What do you guys think are the odds that they shift from top down and they go like third person adventure, or they shift and do like FPS or something? I don't see that as super likely, especially because they use their own proprietary engine, and that engine I don't think has been built out for like first person exploration and stuff. I don't know. Helldivers did that jump. They did. Worked out quite well for them. It's not impossible. I just think it's a huge workload. Massive. Divinity Original Sin 3. If that's what they're doing, I'm sure it's going to be great. I like Divinity Original Sin 2. It's very, very good. It's why I had Baldur's Gate 3 on my radar like years before it went and was officially released. I had it in early access for ages because Divinity Original Sin 2 is so good. But I don't know. My gut just tells me it's not going to be fantasy. My gut just tells me it's not going to be fantasy. I think they want to shake it up. I think they want to do something totally different. Something just totally different. I asked Grok to speculate as to what it could be by scrubbing the internet. To Divinity Original Sin 3, sci-fi RPG venturing beyond. Vinky has long expressed interest in sci-fi, mentioning in older interviews a desire to explore genres outside high fantasy. This project could be a bold pivot. Imagine a spacefaring RPG with cyberpunk elements, high agency like Baldur's Gate 3, but in a futuristic setting with hacking mechanics, replacing spells in alien worlds instead of Faerun. Speculation threads suggest post-apocalyptic or non-medieval themes, tying into Vinky's hint that it is not what you think, ruling out obvious Arthurian ties to Excalibur codename, which is reportedly just his dog's name, like past codenames. This is something he said, where like people were asking him, what are you working on next? And he said, it's not what you think. And in the context of the time he said that, because I remember when he said it, it was like the discourse was whether they were making like Baldur's Gate 4, and then later it was confirmed that they weren't. So maybe that's what the confirmation was. You could also spin it and be like, oh, he's confirming that it's not sci-fi, because that's what people think. Larian's new Warsaw studio and expanded teams could support this ambition, blending isometric expertise with XCOM style tactical elements for combat. Fits the crazy thing description. Let's see this. This was a speculation board. Patch A for Baldur's Gate. Development of 2 new titles. Sven, CEO of Larian, mentioned before the launch of Baldur's Gate 3 that the next project would be something smaller, as he didn't want to spend another 6 years developing a video game. Therefore, I'd like to discuss this. They could possibly be games we see in the next generation, although considering that the cross-gen period will be quite long in the next generation, they're seeking experience in developing the current consoles. Would we could also see the current generation. Yeah, dude, it's funny you mentioned Deus Ex earlier. Can you imagine if someone got the rights to Deus Ex? It's apparently a common thing. It's a common desire. Pentiment scale or something akin to Kingdom Come Deliverance, realism side, but obviously not as big as KCD 1 or 2. I don't know, man. It could be very, very interesting. I don't know. It's basically there's been multiple times where he's called for patience because they are working on 2 separate games at the same time. Yeah, apparently Hasbro's talking to quote unquote lots of partners about the next Baldur's Gate game. And it's working on a separate new D&D game too. In other words, there's plenty in store for fans. Which one was this? Yeah, they're shopping it around, of course. They're like, what do you mean you don't want to make another one? Please. Please. It made us so much money. Please, dear God. I don't know, man. It's so interesting. And I think really whatever they do, people are going to be giddy about, and it's going to be awesome, no doubt. I'm very curious. But my gut tells me it's not going to be fantasy. I think they want to shake it up. I think they want to do something totally different. That's my guess. I think it's going to be something totally fresh and different. And I'll be here for it. Maybe working with Wizards of the Coast was an experience they don't want to go through again. Well, it's just you're giving up a big chunk of your sales, and now they're big enough that whatever they make, original IP or not, will do amazingly well, you know? Like you'll be fine. They'll be fine. They can do like a new IP and be fine. Because there is a business component to it in terms of just money. But even beyond the money and the operating business side of it, because obviously they made a ton of money with Baldur's Gate 3, and they can make a ton more money with Baldur's Gate 4. So even with the cut that Hasbro's taking. But beyond the money component, I think they also just like the idea of creative freedom, being able to do whatever they want. D&D's awesome, but you are limited in what you can do. There are restrictions, there are limits, and there are certain things you can and can't do. So being allowed to do whatever they want to do, it's got to be alluring and interesting to them after years of trying to make sure they stick to the script with what can and can't happen in this universe, you know? Let's see. Anti-Parzival, thank you for the 5. I'd love to see them do a Star Trek-like game. Dude, and that's kind of what made me think of doing the, like a spiritual successor to Star Trek or whatever. I don't know if you've watched the Orville. Nikki and I have been watching the Orville ourselves. It's like one of our fun pastime shows. He took my thing.